Okay, so I said I would post a mental health update. If you're new to following me, I do struggle with some serious mental health issues, and I'm very open and honest about that with everyone because I know some people enjoy learning about my life. So as most of you already know, I suffer from borderline personality disorder caused by childhood trauma that happened when I was very young. If you don't know anything about BPD, you can look it up. I'm not going to get into that. So for the last 10 years that I've been seeing psychologists, psychiatrists, doctors, no one has been able to figure out why I have such intense pain. The pain is harbored in my sternum area, and it's accompanied by like a throbbing sensation, like my body, if you put your hand on it, you can physically feel my abdomen pulsing in and out, and it's very painful. When I was 16, I went to my family doctor and I was explaining to him the sensations and like the serious problems I had, like losing 40 pounds in a few months from not eating and not sleeping. He basically labeled that as an anxiety disorder and put me on, I can't remember, I think it was like Proseq or something like that, and then sent me on my merry way. Didn't refer me to a psychiatrist or a psychologist or any of that shit. And of course, 16-year-old me was like, what the fuck? Like, something is wrong. I'm taking these pills, nothing's changing. At that time, I hadn't really spoken about my trauma or done any trauma work, like, whatsoever. So a few years passed, and I was still left with this, like, what I call my hole in my sternum. That's what we've labeled it with every doctor because it feels like a bleeding hole in my sternum. Long story short, I ended up seeing a psychiatrist and a psychologist who were treating me both with medication and as well as like weekly therapy sessions. The medication for the most part was good for like sleeping, suicidal ideations, thoughts, and actions. And basically, because I'm on a hefty dose of Seroquel and I have been for a few years, it keeps my mood. But still, nothing was fixing the hole. So I stopped seeing my psychologist. I actually moved to Toronto and stopped seeing the psychiatrist that I was seeing as well. So fast forward to last year, and I got a new psychologist, which pretty much changed my life. For the most part, I felt like she actually believed me when I was speaking about the sensations inside of my body. We thought that the whole was like a number of things, being fight or flight syndrome, autonomic arousal disorder, that might have been an ulcer, or like, as of most recently, I thought I had a stomach ache. We've decided that after a year, we're going to continue doing trauma work with me. You know, suffering a childhood trauma is very, very debilitating for a lot of people, and I've just hidden under the rug. If you haven't suffered from a trauma, or especially a childhood trauma, it's very hard to relate, in a sense that, like, when you suffer a trauma as a child, your whole entire life is affected as an adult because those are your learning years. And because it took me so long to even open up to a doctor and talk in full detail about what happened to me, even talking to my own mother about it is extremely, you know, shameful and exhausting and hurt. Like, it's just so much pain. So I can finally say, after 10 years of being in and out of doctors and the hospital and medications and blah, 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 that my physical pain is being caused by a psychosomatic trauma. So with that being said, we decided with my medication to up my dose of Seroquel. So it's been increased by another 50 milligrams, which is fine because, again, it's a mood stabilizer, which is good for people with BPD. And we decided to scrap the citrulline, which is Zoloft. I was on 100 milligrams a day of that. Because that to me was not doing anything. I don't suffer from depression. I have depressive episodes, but it wasn't doing anything to lower the levels of stress in my body, which, again, I'm experiencing from subconscious trauma. So she decided to put me on a medication called Cymbalta, which I'm sure everyone's heard of. Which, let me say, A few months ago when I saw my old doctor, I went in there fucking dead set on getting Cymbalta because I read about the medication, how it's about, like, it's an SNRI, which helps people who suffer from nerve damage. And essentially, this is part of my nervous system, and my nervous system is throbbing. He said to me, people with borderline personality don't go on Cymbalta, and he literally refused to get it. So when my new doctor prescribed me this medication, I had tears because I just wanted so badly for someone to listen to me, to take my pain and understand it and know that it hurts. Not just mentally, but fucking physically. I feel, honest to God, like most days I'm completely disabled. My nervous system is just absolutely fucked. And hopefully the new medication will spark. She said that she's seen a great success rate with people on Cymbalta who experience physical pain. A lot of people with fibromyalgia take this medication. I am on the fence about if I believe in fibromyalgia, but that's besides. Not dissing those who have fibromyalgia, but it's like, whatever. Doesn't matter. I'm starting the medication today. I'm taking 30 milligrams of that, and then in a week I'm gonna bump it up to 60 milligrams, which I believe is like a max dose. I'm fucking hoping and I'm fucking praying that this is the answer to my prayers that I've been asking for 10 years. Just someone to listen to me and give me what I need. And on top of the medication, I'm going to continue to work on my trauma. I'm going to continue to be open and honest, and like honest with you guys and also honest with myself, and let poor little 5-year-old Ashley finally go. It's been a long fucking road for me, and I know I don't always show it on the outside because I seem like, oh, this fucking slut on the internet with big tits and like whatever, she always gets whatever she wants and she just does whatever she wants, and like on the inside, that's not true at all. I'm struggling, and I've been struggling for a really long time, and I've dealt with suicide attempts, and I've dealt with not wanting to live for so long, and I'm still here. And honestly, that's because of the people who love me, so thank you. Send me good vibes, send me healing vibes, send me positive vibes. I'm really hoping this medication opens up a new chapter in my life so I can start living. I want to cam fucking 5 or 6 days a week. I want to write more music. I want to travel. I want to do so much. And I'm so tired of being debilitated by my body. My body attacking itself. I'm just so fucking over it. And you know what? Today proved to me that there is people in this world who are going to listen and who are going to help me. If you've listened through all of this, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I know I'm probably going to get a flood of messages from people, and I really appreciate it. I'm not a stuck-up bitch, even though I seem like it most of the time. I'm really happy to still be here. Sorry, it cut me off. I thought it might have been a stomach or an abdominal aortic aneurysm, which is fucked up, but after looking up all the symptoms, it seemed like that's what I was experiencing. Fast forward to today, I saw my psychologist. I asked her about the aortic aneurysm and like her thoughts on it, and we have finally, after an entire year, come to a conclusion. The feelings, the sensation, the pain that I'm feeling inside of my body is psychosomatic trauma pain. As simple as that sounds, it has taken me since I was 16 years old to finally accept that, and because I so badly wanted it to be something wrong with my body and not something wrong with my mind. Which, I mean, I've known I've suffered from mental illness for a number of years, but I didn't want to make the... Does that make my pain any less real? My physical pain? No. Does that make my mental pain any less real? No. Just because something is psychosomatic does not mean that it's not real.